your crush has been living rent-free in your brain, even though you've never dated him or even interacted with him, oh my gosh, I've been there. And I want you to realize that you don't love him. You love the idealized version of him that you've created in your mind. Yup. So here's exactly how you get over him. So let's get into it. But before we get into the solutions, hacks as to how you're going to detach, you need to understand this important thing, which is why they are on your mind so much in the first place. Why do you fantasize about them so much? Trust me, because this happened to me so many times in middle school and high school. And I realized that a crush is just a lack of information. A crush contains a lot of fantasies because we don't know them in the first place. We don't know the person deeply yet. So our mind naturally wants to fill in the blanks, all the missing information that we don't have about that person. In my situations with those crushes that I didn't even interacted once with, I would obsess over them and think about them all day. And all I was doing was to just make up this perfect version of themselves, even though I didn't know if they were loyal, emotionally intelligent, into self-development in the first place. And because they are so perfect, this is what your mind is taking you to believe about. They're on your mind all day because you just put them on a pedestal. You see them as an idol, as this ethereal, perfect, magnificent, amazing person. But in reality, they're just a frog. I don't want to upset anybody here. It feels good when someone else has a crush on us. It doesn't mean that we are a frog. And it's also true the other way around. But what I'm trying to say is that we often idealize someone to such an extent that we often ignore their flaws. And that's how a lot of people enter in toxic relationships and stay in them, especially in the first couple of months, because literally their mind is blinded from the red flags because of the fantasies that we hold, because we don't want to be disappointed. We don't want to see the reality for what it is, because otherwise it's going to break our heart. We don't want to deal with the harsh truth of the fact that they're human too, and maybe they are not really compatible with us. But trust me, all these people who eventually break up with them, they always regret it. I've been there so many times where, the crush would fade away and I would be like, what I was thinking about? I was having a crush with this little kid. That in high school, guys are so immature and we cannot even blame them because their mind naturally develops later compared to girls. And I feel so disappointed that I idealized them in the first place. And every time I have a crush now, I'm like, okay, so now I need to really open my eyes, and every time I see something weird or a red flag, I need to pay attention, because whether you like it or not, no matter how heartbreaking it is and disappointing it is, like, it hurts a lot. I get it. Seeing someone revealing themselves as a version of them that you didn't expect it to be. Trust me, you are saving yourself so much energy and time, because once you realize their real self, you're not going to spend that time constantly thinking about them and trying to wonder what that interaction meant, if they like you or not, and spiral over all these little signals and interactions and try to make up a meaning out of them. It's exhausting. I remember that I would spend even 30 minutes on ChatGPT. Oh my god, that's so embarrassing. And then ask it, oh my god, what does it mean when someone does this to you? He looked at me, what does it mean? Not only you're saving yourself a lot of pain and suffering and exhaustion, but your future self is going to thank you for it. Because whether you like it or not, you are going to see their real self anyways, sooner or later. A lot of people miss red flags and they even get to have a kid or even marry that person because they were so in love with them. In reality, they were just fantasizing about them and idealizing them. So now that you know how time wasting and energy wasting all of this is, and how much it's costing you, and how much it is also preventing you from focusing on yourself and your goals, then here are the solutions that I practiced that really helped me to get over a crush that I didn't even dated. Trust me, once you leave this video, you're going to stop fantasizing about them and you're going to redirect your focus to what actually matters. Literally, I wish I saw this video. That's how important I think this video is, and I really want you to watch till the end. Thank you. Oh my gosh, sorry guys, I didn't even present myself. Anyways, I'm Emmy. I'm your 17-year-old bestie whose mission is to help you stop getting in your own way so you can finally break free from all these patterns, behaviors, and thoughts that were secretly preventing you from becoming who you are and achieving your dream life. If you're into this, then subscribe. Solution number 1, look at the context. Now, a lot of times we wonder, why can't we stop thinking about them all the time? Why do they seem to have so much control over my mood, my mind? I know that I should move on, but I don't want to. It's because you are ignoring the context. And once you train your mind to get used to it, because this is a habit, everything's going to shift for you. You're going to look at the reality for what it is, and you're going to stop fantasizing about them. This is going to get you out of this la la land with rose glasses. So try to imagine yourself being an alien. Try to look at it from an outside perspective. Look at his interactions with others. I would notice that all of my crushes would interact in a friendly way with every girl. Knowing this context of how he treats others and looking at how he treats me, I see that there's no difference. Or if there's any difference, 9 times out of 10, you're still going to keep wondering if he actually has a crush on you or not, because there's simply not enough signal of interest. Like, everyone can treat everybody differently based on everyone's different personality. Once you train your mind to look at your interactions with your crush and also look at how it interacts with others, then you're going to gain much more insight, and it's going to keep you more grounded. Most of the time, they're just being friendly with everyone. They're just someone who is very social. You should not mistake certain signs as a sign of interest because you simply don't know. Most of the time, when we are fantasizing about someone, it's because we don't have enough information about them. We don't know what they're thinking about us, whether they have a crush on us, and that's the only reason why it leads us to think about them. Because if we knew, like really, if we knew that he or she had a crush on you, you would not keep wondering in your mind whether they have it. So by looking at the context, it's going to keep you more grounded in reality, and it's going to prevent you from further idealizing them and seeking meaning, because you're like, oh yeah, they are probably just friendly with everyone and I still don't know if they have a crush on me or not. But there's no point in trying to convince myself of it, because by looking at the context, there isn't enough information to conclude anything. Second solution, don't detach. I know that this sounds backwards. Sometimes the more you force yourself to detach, the more you're going to think about them. For example, if you tell someone to stop thinking about elephants, that person is going to think about elephants. Where your focus goes, attention flows. No matter if it's negative or positive, your attention is still going toward them. It's another form of attachment disguised as, oh yeah, like I don't care about them. But in reality, you do care about them. You're still thinking about them, but in an opposite way. So what I want you to do is to just being friendly. I thought that it was impossible to be just friendly and just look at interactions and be like, oh yeah, that was nice, and that's it, and not seek any meaning and like wonder, oh my god, why they did this, why they said this, and all this stuff. But just stop at, oh my god, yeah, that interaction was nice, and that's it, and I'm going to focus on my stuff. I thought that this was impossible until I practiced it, and oh my god, like the transformation I had, guys. Literally, I stopped analyzing their behavior from there on. One thing that I learned is that you can still enjoy someone's company and like have a crush on them, but still be detached and focus on yourself. Let things reveal themselves. If someone really has a crush on you, then they're going to show it, even though sometimes it's going to be slower or faster depending on the person. If someone is not interested in you, they're going to show it. It's going to be still, like you're going to keep wondering for months and months and nothing's going to change. If they have a crush on you, they're going to show it slowly but surely. There's going to be some sort of direction. You know, for example, the flirting is going to become more obvious, more clear, and also you need to show signs too. Anyway, this is not what the video is about. This really gives you that clarity of the fact that why are you obsessing over someone who clearly does not seem interested in you? If nothing has really changed for months, there is a reason for it. There is a reason for it. Okay, don't try to make up excuses or try to find other reasons as to why they might have a crush on you, because that's just a waste of time. Someone someone who is really serious about you, they are not going to keep you there wondering for months, constantly analyzing their behavior. It's not going to feel like super exciting, but it's going to feel natural. You know, with someone who truly has a crush on you and wants to be with you, you're going to feel calm, grounded, because deep down, you know that they like you and they want you. There's not going to be those like mixed signals. It's so easy to think, oh my god, I need one more sign for me to finally admit that, yeah, they don't have a crush on me. Or, oh my god, I cannot find peace right now. I must know if they like me. Otherwise, I'm not going to feel at peace with myself. Or if I understand what they are thinking, then I'll finally stop obsessing. Bestie, this moment is not going to happen. Accept the uncertainty, because trust me, in my experience, if you keep looking for another sign to see if they truly like you, so you finally can allow yourself to find peace and stop obsessing over them, this is never going to come, because the more you look for signs, the more you're going to seek them, and it's going to be like this never-ending cycle. In my experience, every answer created another question. I used to have this crush in high school where he would, smile at me, and I would think, oh my god, like, he has a crush on me, definitely. But then I would be confused because he would smile at everyone, but then he would be playful with me, like grab my stuff just to play with me and all this stuff. Like, yeah, he definitely wants to be with me, yeah. But then I looked at the context and he was doing it with everyone. I looked at the patterns and I saw that nothing was moving in a clear direction. He wasn't showing clear signs, and he was like giving mixed signals, and nothing would change over months. The uncertainty is going to make your mind keep coming back to wondering, what each interaction means, and that's why they end up living rent-free in your mind. And being friendly with them makes your brain sort of accept this uncertainty, not knowing what is their intention. Just enjoy the interactions, let yourself, have this emotion, but also at the same time focus on yourself, go do your things, have your own life. And every time you still find yourself spiraling, looking for any signs of interest that he might is showing to you, the thing that makes me stop it in a split second and makes me want to focus on my things instead is saying, I don't know what it means. And that's okay. I can enjoy it, but I don't know what it means. So every time he waves you back and smiles at you and all this stuff, you're going to just be more grounded in yourself. The thing that I realized is that a guy or a girl can literally be friendly with you without having any sort of crush or interest in you. And I'm gonna leave it there to let you process it. Final solution, transmute. Okay, transmute all this feeling of like obsession and like overanalyzing, overthinking into what actually matters. Because I used to be embarrassed on how like obsessed I would get in analyzing and wondering about what these interactions mean, because it's embarrassing. Like, you are giving desperate energy as if like I didn't have my own life. But if you find yourself obsessing over someone, that's a good thing, because you can literally use that energy of constant obsession into your goals, into yourself, into growing your self-love. Also because not everyone has this obsessive energy. Obsessive people like us, we really need to be careful on how we use that energy, because if we use it on the wrong things, obsessing over people, over validation, acceptance, it's going to exhaust us, just make our lives fall apart. I remember that I had this crush in high school. Like, I remember that this crush was one of those like most intense ones that I've ever had, even though I never interacted with them. I would scroll on TikTok on signs that a guy likes you. I would be like, oh my god, he did this, he looked at me and he smiled at me, he sat next to me and all this stuff. So it means that they have a crush on me. I would scroll for hours, and that literally caused my grades to fall apart for a temporary period. And that's what I mean when I say that you need to really use this energy carefully. Now I'm literally transmuting all of this obsessive energy that I naturally have with content. Like, literally I'm thinking about content 24/7. Yeah, I'm also resting, guys. I'm not burning out. But the thing is, with obsessive people like us, you think that you cannot control it, but if you use the right tools, like, following the advice that I actually gave you, that actually helped me personally too, it's going to help you so much in achieving your goals. Thanks to this obsessive energy, this is gonna make us become hella successful. One last thing, very, very important message, that I think it's the root cause as to why we oftentimes obsess over someone, obsess over a crush that we didn't even date it. Like, what? Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but it actually makes sense. Having a crush really tricks us into thinking, oh my god, they're this such amazing, perfect person. I will never find someone better than them. Well, they are my best option. What if they are the last guy that I'm going to have a crush on? When am I going to find my soulmate? He didn't even show you some romantic, clear signals of interest, and you think that it was the best option. I always knew deep down I wanted a partner who shows clear interest, who approaches me and all this stuff. Literally, that's the bare minimum. But it's so crazy that every time I have a crush, it's like as if they are the best option, even though they didn't even did the bare minimum. Even if you've never spoken to them, you've been loving in silence, and having a crush on them shows that you are capable of love, but you really need to redirect it to, the people who actually show you their interests. It doesn't mean that you're unworthy of love, that there's something wrong with you, or that you'll never find your soulmate. Really, a crush or partner should be literally the last thing that you should worry about. Having a crush, a very innocent crush, is pretty good and normal. You can enjoy interactions and all this stuff. I'm not saying that you should stop having crushes. Like, it's embarrassing, it's a shameful thing to have. Like, it's literally something that you cannot control. You don't wake up thinking, oh my god, okay, today I'm going to have a crush on that person. It's nice, it's normal, but it should not become like the center of your universe. You should not obsessing over the meaning of their interactions, whether they have a crush on you and all this stuff. It should not take up your whole life, your whole mental space. And one thing that is going to end all of this obsession is knowing how to focus on yourself. So if you're a big dreamer but you never start, and you always make excuses and say that you're going to do it tomorrow, then this video is going to help you.